Every time we hear about the latest AI can do this, the latest AI can do that, and sometimes it makes me wonder if our future as web designers is safe. But I've discovered a few things that I need to discuss with you in this video. So AI, yes, it is very, very powerful and it can do a lot of things. But what I found very interesting was I had a practical scenario that I have that I'd like to discuss with you. A few days ago, my son was so happy that he was able to design a website using AI because he's working on his own project where he's selling these 3D printed items for engineering. I'm not too sure what exactly it's about, but anyway, he wants to sell something online that he's going to produce using 3D printing. So he wanted a website that can do that. So I've always said to him, listen, why don't you learn how to use WordPress and specifically Divi, because I do a lot of tutorials on Divi. And he's been very resistant. Now, I didn't realize this, but he's been watching a lot of these videos online about AI. Oh, you know what? WordPress web design is dead and all of this. And he bought into it. So what he did is he went on and designed his website using Claude AI. And this is the website. So as you can see, it looks very clean, very nice, very professional. So he was super excited when he showed me this. And to be fair, it does look like a really, really cool website. So I said, okay, so what happens when you click on get a quote? So I click on it and I was like, oh, okay, you can also upload a file here. That's pretty okay. That's really, really good. The use of colors as well, it's not too bad. You can go there, you know, it's easily customizable. You can really go in and customize everything that you need. And I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. Right. So how does it work? Right. So I came on this page here. I was reading a little bit. Of course, majority of this I'm not really familiar with because it's all to do with engineering and his engineering stuff. So as I'm looking at this, I was saying to myself, wow, okay, we might be in trouble here. But then again, I asked him a very important question and I said, okay, so how are you going to take the payments once the website is complete? At that point, he paused and said, well, I think I can connect this to Stripe. And I knew deep down, it is going to be very, very difficult to just get Stripe connected to this and also connected to the form where you get to choose all your specifics. So I said, okay, so why doesn't that be, that has to be your next target now, or your next goal, to make sure that you set up all the payment system on your website and make sure that it's secure. He went away, came back and said, oh, you know what? I'm redesigning this website using Squarespace. And I was like, hang on, why would you want to use Squarespace? Why don't you just use AI? Then he says, well, the hosting. I said, okay. So Squarespace provides the hosting. I get it. So now you have to redesign the website on Squarespace. Then he says, yes. And I said, okay, now let's talk about the databases. How are you going to have all these customers in the database? And how are you going to be sending them emails, confirmation emails, or emails to remind them that they have to do this, or emails just to communicate with all your customers? At that point, I could see the frustration in his eyes. And of course, I didn't want to say, yeah, I got you. I didn't want to say that because, of course, I knew that was going to be devastating for him. So I had to tell him the reality of what the situation is. And I had to say to him, look, there's a reason why there's people out there who create content because that's the in thing and it's a buzzword. And they make a lot of views because majority of people who are watching these videos and getting excited are people that want to go into web design. But people who actually design websites know for a fact that it's not easy to just build a website unless it's a brochure website that has your typical five-page website of about us, services, and so on, of which those type of websites don't really work. We need websites that do something, you know, either collecting leads, you know, making sales, and so on. So websites that just show your about us, here's what we do, and so on, those are easy to make. And of course, you might as well go to Squarespace or any of these other websites. But the websites that we are looking for are websites for small businesses which, as I mentioned a moment ago, are generating leads or generating sales for them, because that's all that matters for anyone who has a small business. And for that reason, it's because you need WordPress. So anyway, I offered him to design the website on WordPress, and I'm actually making this as a tutorial. Unfortunately, it's very, very long. I should have posted it by now, but it's a long tutorial. So basically, this is the website, and you can see here it has a .html. That's the HTML that was produced using the AI. And here on this tab is where I am redesigning this website using Divi. So you can see this is my option, or rather my design using Divi. And I'm pretty close to what we have here. You can see that. So I've also gone in here and adjusted a few things that I think needs to be improved. But typically, you know, all the information is pretty much the same. And he is very, very happy with what I've produced so far. So this now needs to be something that you need to be thinking about if you are doubting that designing websites with WordPress is irrelevant or not in today's age. And I would like to say, for this example here, it's a typical example that a lot of people or a lot of companies are saying, you know what, I'm going to design my website using AI. But the reality of it is you cannot run a functioning website. AI can just do a pretty website with nice pages and nice colors and so on, and that's about it. But when it comes to something that really works, something that is a proper system, and when I say system, I'm talking about a website that generates leads, sends an email out. After 3 days, it sends another email, or if something is wrong, it sends an email to say, hey, there's an issue here. I'm talking about websites where you can have a community. I'm talking about websites which do bookings. I'm talking about websites which builds a mailing list. I'm talking about websites which allows you to take payments. These are the sort of websites we need to be working on or thinking about as designers, freelancers, and as agencies. And AI cannot do that. It cannot do that at all. Now, while we're on that topic, I know it's very difficult to learn how to design websites using WordPress, and I have a course here that I want to talk about. This course is called Divi 5 Mastery. Now, this course is targeted to anyone who wants to learn the Divi page builder. So this course teaches you everything that you need to know from the ground up. Now, I know you may be saying, well, I don't like courses and all of that, and, you know, I'm just going to learn. But you know what? This course is going to save you a lot of time, because you won't be spending too much time on YouTube trying to find out how to do certain things. This course will take you from beginner to expert through these lessons. And this is a course that will be growing with time. All the latest features that Elegant Themes is going to be adding are also going to be added onto this course, and I'll be also showing you a workflow that you need to follow for you to be able to design these websites super fast. And these websites are also going to be easy to maintain. Now, of course, at this point, you'll be saying, okay, well, how much is the course? Well, this course is only $37, and you pay that once, and pretty much that's it. You don't have to pay any extra above that. And all the extra lessons and modules that are going to be added are not going to be done at any extra cost. So this will get you up and running super fast. And as I mentioned, you're going to be able to design or redesign any website with the right principles of the newly built Divi 5. Because if you don't know this, Divi 5 has been built from the ground up. And if you've used Divi 4 before, this is a brand new learning curve. Divi 4 is completely different to Divi 5, and it has that learning curve. So if you want to take away all the stress of learning how to design these websites with Divi 5, this is the course for you. It's only $37, and I'll leave a link to that in the video description below. Anyway, these are my thoughts about AI and WordPress. What are your thoughts? What do you think is the future of web design? Should we be worried as web designers with this AI? I want to hear your thoughts. Add them in the comments box below. And until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the next one. Take care.